Hello, this is Phoebe Fritz, and this is my PMP presentation. Um, Basically, I'm making a Metroidvania-style game using 2D pixel art, and currently the game that you're about to see uses pre-made assets, so it's not my own. So this is the game. This door does not open, that's intentional. I've unlocked double jump, there's an icon in the corner, which shows that I can now double jump. This unlocks crouch. I can now crouch. This means I can move in spaces that are 1x1 tiles. Over here, I've unlocked dash, and I just got blown up. See, I can now dash, making movement faster. The enemy that blew me up can currently pass through like platforms. That is going to change as I've just woken up. I'm sorry, because I think that going through, walls and that is not probably good unless, I make it a ghost, which I don't think I am. So it does a lot of damage and it dies when it blows up. That is to be expected and normal. I've unlocked push. I'll show that in a second. And this I've unlocked punch. This is an enemy and I can shoot it, but for whatever reason, the bullets aren't showing and I cannot be bothered to just do it for this presentation, so take my word for it. But I do have a sword and I can kill it. The reason why it's walking endlessly into the wall is because it walks and moves based on kind of like checkpoints or whatnot. That it will go from checkpoint 1, which is to say here, checkpoint 2, checkpoint 3, then it will go back to checkpoint 1, checkpoint 2, checkpoint 3. So it has its own little circuit. The reason why it's walking into the wall is because the checkpoint used to be over there. I moved it, or at least the map or the level I've moved. I've literally just not fixed it. I've just not been bothered to, and it's kind of fine because otherwise they will be in my way. So yeah. Here is what we're going to call a generator. It's not going to be anything on the floor as of yet. It's only there to be a placeholder. It will eventually look like an actual generator that you can kind of pass by, similar to one of these. Okay, I can pass by one of these. The generator will look like a generator and you can pass by it. It won't be an actual platform on the floor. Again, this is just a placeholder thing. So when you go here, you get a charge. It fills up the charge meter. Normally this charge meter I plan on being invisible, and it will only be visible when you get charge. Then what will happen is it will eventually deplete the charge that you have, and it will vary based on the area you're in, because some levels may be bigger and more complex than others. And eventually, when it gets down to the end, you lose charge, and that's that. Your goal is to get the charge, and then within the time limit that the charge has been set, currently it's been set to be like half a second, you will have, in this case, half a second to get to the generator to charge it up. As long as you have charge in your bar, and when you get to a generator, which will be like this, you just pass by it, it will like activate the generator. The generator has been charged, and it will do what the generator is linked to do, which will be to open an otherwise unopenable door. This is a yellow block. What you do is you press 1 and boom, it's gone, because this is what punch does. Remember, you unlock punch, that's what punch does. You've also unlocked push. You can now push what was previously unmovable objects to help clear your path and get along your day. I took damage, I flashed a bit, but there is a period to where I'm invincible before I start taking damage again. This is to prevent you getting basically one-tapped by an enemy that takes you by surprise. This door is now open because this pressure plate was the one that was, preventing it from being opened. Once there is something on the pressure plates, try not to die, it now is open for the player to pass through. These will disappear in loading screen. I've just not done that. This is the first level. There's no requirements, so it opens based on the proximity of the player. But again, now you can't pass through because you have to put the pressure plate, the unmovable block on the pressure plate. As you can also see, these abilities have disappeared because once you get them, you've got them for good. They're permanent. And that is that. Thank you very much. That's the current state of my game. I hope you enjoyed it. It's not changed in over a month, maybe 2 months. So since the other 3 presentations I've done, nothing's changed. Nothing. There has not been any changes. Here are some of my coding. So when I say some, I mean 1, because I've done this presentation 7 times. I've got 9 minutes left. Cool. I always run out of time. So this is the door controller. This is the controller, the script that works on the doors that will help them open or not open based on certain requirements. Before, we had it working a different way, where the door will essentially send out signals to see if whatever is required to open the door has been met. So this was a pressure plate. The door would look, if it has a pressure plate assigned to it, where, okay, it's assigned so I can only open with this now. It will look at the pressure plate. Has it been opened? Nope, so it's still unlocked. Has it been opened? Yes, now it's unlocked. That was scrapped as it would lead into just more kind of clunky and very unique particular functions that the game would keep on updating. Instead, what would happen is we would change it, and when I say we, I do mean me and David, to have whatever the external entity that triggers the door to open and unlock is the one that sends out the signal. Instead of the door checking, it's now whatever unlocks the door sends the signal once it's been triggered. So if it's a pressure plate, once the pressure plate has been triggered, it will send out the signal to the door only once it's been triggered. It doesn't, so it no longer has the door checking every kind of second or whatnot, every frame or whatever it is. This makes things a lot less complicated and I'm tired. Anyway, that's basically it. I've got 7 minutes left, but from my experience, I do need to move on. So this is my game design document. I have finally got a final name for it, which is Odyssey. I was inspired by the game Valhalla, that is named just one name, and it conveys what it conveys. And there's a train, choo-choo. The game synopsis is basically you wake up in a strange world and you have to explore the world to find fragments of a train ticket, and this train ticket is all in pieces. Once you collect all the pieces to form the whole train ticket, you can take the train back home to your world. This is a train that essentially travels between worlds, space, time, potentially. Who knows? It's a very special train. It's not just a standard train you would find on the London Underground. It's for Peggy 7. I will later expand the target audience, though it won't be as cohesive as I was told to do it in college, because that will be several pages long for both primary, secondary, and tertiary. And yeah, but I will expand it. These are the platforms that I aim for it to be on, and these are the genres. The old kind of like title was Train Game. It was a placeholder, and this was the concept art that later inspired the final title. There was inspirations from the London Underground as well as just trains in general. This is how I travel between my home outside of London to London. I do love trains. I actually can't get enough of them. I like travelling on them, especially the overground. I was inspired by many different things, such as the train from Dragon Quest IX, which is a space travelling train called the Celestial Train, if I'm not mistaken. A cassette beast, which I played over the summer, has the Merline, which is based on the London Underground, as the game takes a lot from London folklore, history, and other forms of inspiration from England. And the Mummy on the Orient Express episode, which is also a train in space. When you die, big red letters, you died. You've got 3 options: continue, main menu, and exit. Was inspired by Dark Souls or Souls games where it says you die. The main character has yet to be concept and finalized, but I do want it to be inspired by protagonists from kid shows that look cool, essentially. Cool is what I'm, I suppose, going for the design. It makes the player look at the character and think, damn, they look cool. I wish that was me. I aspire to be like that. Koromon is another game I played over the summer, and this looks like a robot arm. It's technically a gauntlet, but this is what's inspiring me to have a robotic arm on the player, at least one. Depends if I do asymmetrical design or not. 3 minutes 43 seconds left, so I'm going to kind of speed up. The character will be 3 tiles tall, 1 tile wide. Idle animation or idle stance will be at a 45-degree angle, but when they're moving left to right, they will likely be, hard right, hard left. So while you may see some of their front, a lot of the further side of them will maybe be covered. I'm still in talks with Naj for advice on how to frame that, but yes, I will not be inspired by Octopath as much because this is isometric, which my game is not. Here are some inspirations from monster designs. None have been concepted yet, like I said. These are some environment designs because I definitely want a grassy, maybe foresty area, and if I can later on, there'll be either a cave and or a dungeon. I do need to move on to 2 minutes, but this is something I found that will help me actually make the tiles, as I've not made tile sets or tile maps before, which they simplify it, add a bit of detail, and then more detail. And this is what tile maps are supposed to look like. Again, I've not done it, so this is from me to look at for inspiration. 2 minutes, 10 seconds. This is how the game will look. Minimap, health points, charge meter, which will appear and disappear, and the ability trackers. Player door pickups will be on the overworld, as well as the charge rifts and the generators. Again, they will look more like generators that you can pass by, not a platform you step on. Movable objects, which will be previously unmovable without an ability, we put on pressure plates, and you can break certain objects. I do have a minute left. These are the ability icons that the icons will look like, but they will be done in pixel art, so these are just concept art versions of them because my game will be in pixel art. I've got 1 minute 30 left, but this is the game features. There are some obviously very basic things to more specific things like my abilities. I've yet to do a core gameplay loop or a non-linear kind of timeline, I think Andy called it, but I will be looking at this as a example. Controls are going to be WASD. Accessibility will be font color and size and background color for the font / text, for color blindness and dyslexia. And I do have a Trello. No assets are made yet. No production or contracts or major problem solving except needing to address the black mold. And what else do I need to talk about? Game design, visuals, mood boards, Trello. I have a Trello. It's linked here. Please take a look. There's not much on it. 40 seconds. Actually doing quite good. Holy damn. Next steps, I will be designing some levels using square paper because obviously tiles, I can literally make the level based on the amount of tiles that will be in the level. I will also be concepting my player character and a couple of enemies, and I would like to go through my prefabs to make sure they're all updated, so when I make new scenes, they will have everything I need. So, because I worry that I'll go into a new scene, prefab doesn't have everything I need, and then I need to keep importing it. 4 seconds and non-linear progression. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed. Oh God, everything's going off. That's 15 minutes. Thank you very much, and goodbye.